You may have taken this course or done something else, but a portfolio is truly the most important thing as a data analyst. And if you have a bad portfolio or even a missing one completely, you'll send lots of job applications with zero chance of getting the job. Like, look at these jobs. The pay is amazing. You don't need experience, but you need a really good portfolio. And in this video, we're gonna fix this. I'm gonna show you how to easily build a data analyst portfolio from scratch in just 3 days, even if you're a brand new data analyst. Alright, so the first thing that we have to do is sort of distinguish what a portfolio is. And we're going to get into all of this really quick. I'm going to show you exactly how to build a really powerful one if you're just getting started. But I'm just going to pick up my whiteboard here and just draw it out for you. So, alright, so the main reason why it's so important is because when you apply to a job, you don't actually get to sit down and have a discussion with the person. What actually happens is that the person looks at your profile, it looks at your resume, it looks at your portfolio. And if that is good, then you get to meet the person. But if you don't, you never get to actually have an interview. So essentially the main thing is that the portfolio gets to meet the recruiter before you do. So obviously you should put a lot of effort into it and make it the best one so that you'll be able to get the job and even get to the recruiter. We're going to start from the bottom. So first we need something to fill this portfolio. And if you stick around a few minutes, you'll see 2 different ways that you can get quality projects to put in your future portfolio really quick. The first one is going to be on Coursera, and I'm going to show you another one in just a second. The first one is essentially that you head to data science and then you click on guided projects under 2 hours. And what this means is that you'll find projects. Now we should select English so we can find the correct ones. And then you're going to find projects that you can do and essentially follow along as somebody else does it. So it's super easy for you to do it. And then once you complete it, you'll actually get something that you can put in your portfolio, which we're going to do in a second. So let's say that we're interested in this one, HR Analytics. Build a HR dashboard using Power BI. So this is going to give us a basic introduction to using some of the tools. If we have knowledge about this, that's great. If you don't need it because it's beginner level. And essentially what you do is you follow along a split screen video while they complete the task, and then you complete it at the same time. And when you're done, you'll have something to put in your portfolio. As you can see, you learn step by step, and it essentially puts the thing on the side and your thing here. The only thing is that this of course costs a little bit of money, but I'll show you something free. So essentially, if you don't want to pay for a Coursera subscription to do this, then what you can do is you can just head to Kaggle. We're going to use this a lot in this video, so it's really good to just sign up and get an account. So after you signed up with your Google account, it's really that simple. You're going to head to datasets, and this is a complete free website. Like, you're not going to have to pay anything to use this. So you click on datasets, and here you can find a lot of different datasets in a lot of different areas, and you can find everything that you're interested in basically. So let's say that we're interested in Spotify, and now we're essentially going to make a project by ourselves. So how can you do this? Well, you should have a little bit of knowledge about data analysis, and you should be able to sort of make a few questions that you're going to be answering in your project. But here you're going to be able to find all the essentially all the information you need. And if you have no idea what projects you're going to be making, you can just head here and you'll be able to find something really easy. Let's say that we want to make something about US software developer salaries and like some kind of projection, or we want to see what states pay the best. Then if we just use this data, then we can essentially do this for free. And you get all the data available here on this website completely for free. So you don't have to look around somewhere else, and it's all going to be here, which I think is really nice. So let's say that we want to use this one. Now what we do is we download this one. We can also create a new notebook, which I'll show you in a second. And we're going to look if this is something that we can actually use for our cause. We want to compare the cities and see like the different salaries between the cities. And as you can see, there's some kind of mean software development salaries. This is the area of the city, and it essentially shows the salaries in the area. So if we want to see like what's the best place to be a software developer, of course you could also think in the other cost of like living and that kind of stuff. For this example, we're not going to be thinking of that. So essentially what we're going to do is we're just going to answer that question. We're going to download this data set, and then we're just going to extract the data and then make a kind of visualization. You can do that with slides or something like that. And that's going to be one way of showing the data. You can also use a tool like Tableau. You can do something else. It really depends on what you're looking to do. And I'm going to show you all of this in just a second, how you should do this. But once you have a project that you've created, whether it's on Coursera or whether it's on here, then you want to head to create, because we're going to create a notebook. Now I have this profile here, which is a pretty empty profile, as you can see. It's basically completely empty. What you want to do is you want to click on create, and you want to click on new notebook, because this profile, you're going to be able to essentially present this to people later when we actually put this in a resume. So what you want to do is you want to click here, and this is going to show us the notebook. And here we can essentially put in the our data, we can put in our things that we wanted to do. And at this point, you might be wondering, like, what should I actually put here? You will essentially be able to have a profile here, and it's going to work a little bit like GitHub if you have any experience in that. So you can put your code, you can put your data sets, you can put your different projects up here, and you can also like showcase that you've been active, which is really good for employers, because it shows that you have a history of data analysis and being active and engaged in the community, which is going to help you even more. So essentially what you want to do is you want to upload your thing, depending on if it's code, depending on if it's a data set, you want to upload it and then put it into a notebook. And that's going to be a way of showing your project. So you can upload your project as a notebook here. The basic skills that you should put is essentially SQL, R, or Python. Why I'm saying this is because these are the most in-demand programming languages. So if you know SQL, then you should definitely try to use SQL in your project, and then you can upload somewhere where you essentially present that you've used SQL in your project. If you use the Coursera ones, which I think can be very beneficial, then you'll already be using different things like that. And that's why I highly recommend it, because you'll essentially be using like Microsoft Power BI, you'll be using different things to visualize it, and they'll do it all for you. But if you're doing it by yourself, that's completely fine too. You just have to essentially make sure that you use a few different tools that you want to present, that you have knowledge about in your resume or in whatever you're applying to. But the most important ones are SQL, R, or Python, and also that you can visualize it. But if you do this, if you want to visualize it, you could use Tableau. You can also use something like Slides if you just want to do that, and that's going to work out really well as well. The most important thing is that you show that you are able to think critically, and by doing a project that's like this, that's somebody else's project, it's not really as valuable, but it works, especially if you personalize it a little bit. But if you create a project yourself, if you take something, you come up with a few questions, you solve something, that's a really, really good data analysis project. And that essentially means that if you just find a data set like this, and then you figure out a few questions that you want to answer, and then you figure out a way to answer it, whether it's by using SQL with the data, or whether it's using Python, or whether it's just you using a sheet or something, that's still going to be good because it shows you that you have critical thinking. That's going to be very helpful. Now, essentially, once you have this, then what you want to do is you want to essentially link your profile. You can also link a notebook specifically on this site. Like if I wanted to put my project in this notebook and then I wanted to link it, I can create a link. But now in this case, I wanted to link my profile. So I'll just link the profile. You can share it, and that's really, really simple. Now, what you want to do is you want to put this on your resume. So how do we do this? Well, if you don't have a resume already, then you can go to Canva and you can create one completely for free. This is going to be really helpful because they have really nice templates. And if you're specifically in data analysis, they could have something like that as well. Let's see if they have one. Data analyst resume. Okay, let's take a look at this. So some of these might be paid, but I think these ones are free actually. So here's some templates that you could use. And then you can essentially just put in your information and try to make it look as nice as possible, and also include the your specific skills, and you could include like a link to your profile, whether it's on Kaggle or whatever it is. The important thing is that you're actually able to link it out and show that like this is your LinkedIn, this is your portfolio, and you essentially link and you just show that you have a good portfolio up there. So I would recommend that you put around like 3-4 projects. That shouldn't take more than a few days, like 3 days. So 1, 2, and 3, and 4 at least, so that you have that. You could have like maybe 2 projects that are your own and 2 that are from Coursera or something like that, or they could all be your own. You can also find projects online. I definitely recommend it, and I'll put some resources in the description to help you do that. Essentially, the most important thing is that you start by having something to put in your project. You start with like actually getting the thing. This is the thing that you're going to put in the project, or in your portfolio, sorry. And then you figure out a way to host your portfolio. I recommend Kaggle. It's pretty nice for data analysts. Then you put in the different things here, and then you link this to your LinkedIn or whatever it is, your resume that you put on LinkedIn. And that's really how simple it is. So Thank you guys for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Make sure that you leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and I'll see you in the next video.